Broadcasting from the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studios, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2019 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the Keep Moving Forward Creator Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete and police officer, Ashley Hawkins. How are you doing, Ashley?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Good to be on here.
Well, thank you. So just to kick us off and kind of get the ball rolling, I want to know if just where did you grow up and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
I grew up in Madison, North Carolina, which is kind of near Virginia. It's on the northern border of North Carolina. I grew up playing soccer, basketball, t-ball, pretty much anything that my parents threw me into. I just wanted to conquer and be better than all the little boys that were out there because everything was co-ed when I was growing up.
Yeah. And I mean, that's awesome. So it was just shaped by wanting to be better and getting involved in so many different sports. And so at an early age, when you were doing all these different sports, did you realize that maybe you had a particular aptitude for one sport, or was it really just you wanted to try all of them out?
I was really passionate about just anything that I was thrown into, but my favorite two were soccer and basketball. Mm-hmm. And I was pretty decent at both. Some of my family thought that I was better at basketball. Some thought that I was better in soccer. So it was really hard for me to make a decision which sport I was going to play when I got to the collegiate level. So when I got to college, I just decided that I was going to go do the college thing, figure out what I wanted to do academically first. So I just went to a bigger school, and then I figured out that I really wanted to play soccer. I really missed soccer. So then I actually tried to walk on to a team and got a scholarship to play collegiate soccer at another school.
Wow. So when you were going through this decision-making process initially for between basketball and soccer, had you played both sports all the way up through high school up until it was time to really start focusing on college?
Yes, I did. I actually played, club soccer, but I never played club basketball. I only played basketball for the actual school.
Okay.
So soccer was kind of something that I always excelled a little more in soccer because I had a lot more opportunity in soccer than I did for any other sport.
And so when you initially decided you wanted to just focus on academics initially and that first go at it with college, but then what happened? What made you realize that you missed sports? And in particular, what made you realize that you wanted to play soccer at the collegiate level?
I was interested in club sports at the school that I went to. I went to UNCG my freshman year, the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. So I started playing club soccer, and I got to go against a lot of other girls that I had played with previously. So I just really wanted to play at the collegiate level at that point. And
was there ever a desire to try and play both basketball and soccer, or was it really just you wanted to take your hand at one sport?
I always had that interest in trying to tackle, more than one sport, but I didn't think it was practical because college soccer just took so much time because there was a fall season, which is where we actually played our season, and then there was spring season also, which was mostly our physical training, and then we had some games and tournaments that we were also involved in. So it was kind of just a little much to play more than one collegiate sport.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Especially, I mean, at that level, it would be so challenging to try and manage both of that and your academics at the same time. And so you initially started wanting to focus on that academic portion truly so you could gain that college experience and get that college degree. What were you focusing on academically? Did you have your sights set on a particular career?
Not at that point in time, because I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to do something in sports medicine.
Okay.
And then I think I just dabbled in just the core classes my freshman year. And, I had a pretty big workload. I never took the minimum. I always took like right below the maximum level of classes that you could take. And then I think I took a sociology class, and that's where I kind of started getting a little bit into criminal justice and that kind of thing, because criminal justice wasn't offered at UNCG.
Okay.
So then when I went to Pfeiffer University, which is where I played college soccer, that's where I got into criminal justice. And, I was so familiar with it because growing up, my father was a police officer and my grandfather was a state trooper from North Carolina. So I've always just had that interest and that knack for the criminal justice system.
And so when you started to dive into criminal justice, and I mean, you had grown up around it and starting to learn more about it, did you have your sights set on maybe a particular field, or was it really you decided you wanted to go after becoming a police officer?
I think eventually I wanted to be somewhere in the federal government system, whether it's like the FBI, because I've always had a knack for like the criminal profiling TV shows. Everybody gets sucked into like Criminal Minds,
right,
and that kind of thing. So that's kind of where my interest went. So I also double majored in psychology to get my little feel for how the mind really works. So I love my law enforcement career, but there can always be something more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having that background and studying in that field, you can go in so many different directions. And so then when you did, you went to play college soccer, and then you started to major in criminal justice and psychology. So from there, once you did graduate college, what was that transition like for you out of the world of, because you initially went into it with, you started to miss sports and so you wanted to play soccer, but then again when you graduated college, knowing that looming on the horizon was, okay, soccer was going to come to a close again, did you have aspirations to continue on athletically in any capacity, or were you just focusing on then that next step and what your career might be?
Well, every summer I would get permission from my college coach to actually play in adult leagues.
Oh, wow.
So I was playing on a women's team in the summer. We were an amateur women's team, so we would travel over U.S. and play in like state cup tournaments and just amateur women. It's below the national level, and just kind of like pick me up soccer.
Yeah.
Adult league women's soccer. So I was still doing that over the summer. So when I graduated, I was still playing with the same women that I've been playing with. So I never really had to transition out of it.
That's really, that's amazing. And that's a great way to prepare yourself for that. Cause it's true, you can continue to play that sport. It doesn't have to end. So you found that women's league to continue. And so do you still play in that league today?
Well, we play in smaller tournaments, and we play in smaller local leagues now. So I think women's soccer is kind of went a little downhill. It's not as popular, or it's not as big as it is, or it was back, I guess, when I was in my prime. So there's not really a lot of tournaments that a lot of women my age are going to play in.
And so is that something maybe that do you want to continue it? Or are you seeing as time goes on that because less and less women are interested, it's harder to find tournaments and find things to play in?
Yeah, I think it's just harder to find. I just have this league that I play in, and it's competitive, but still it's more of a conditioning thing for me now.
Yeah.
Versus winning and losing. I don't like to go out there and lose. I'm gonna take it serious, and I'm gonna go out there and do my best. But it's more of a conditioning, kind of stay up to speed on things for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the line of work you're in, that is absolutely necessary. And so from there, you continued your soccer playing, staying in shape and conditioning yourself. So when did you ultimately decide to become a police officer, and what was that path like once you graduated from college?
Once I graduated from college, I actually started applying to be a police officer.
Okay.
And actually I went to work on, I still had 2 years of eligibility of soccer when I graduated from Pfeiffer, because I had to redshirt 1 year because I pulled both my hamstrings.
Oh, wow.
So I was injured for a whole year. So I actually went back for one semester and played college soccer and worked on my master's, but I never completed my master's. So I was applying to be a police officer during that time frame.
And so when you went back, I mean, that's really cool that you were able to go back and continue to play while pursuing your master's degree. So what were you doing the same thing, going after a master's in some line with criminal justice, again, trying to stay in that vein, or the whole time were you really, it was just to continue education and still ultimately you wanted to end up as a police officer?
It was just to continue education. That way I could continue playing soccer.
Yeah.
I kind of just gave up on, continuing to fulfill my master's, and it was going to be in business administration. And then I actually heard back from the police academy in Greensboro. So I transitioned into starting my career in law enforcement.
And so, I mean, from there, so what was the application process like for you? I mean, so you decided, you heard back from the department in Greensboro. And so were you automatically a police officer? Did you have to go through a certain level of training before you became an official officer?
I had to go through a 6-month academy, which was kind of like college all over again for a semester.
Man.
So it was, physical as well as a lot of book work. So it was just learning countless amounts of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm from there. I mean, so what made you keep going? I mean, in those 6 months, all the learning, the physical toll of all the things that you had to learn and just put yourself through, what made you keep going and ultimately just achieve the goal of becoming an officer?
A lot of the stuff we were learning was kind of a refresher from what I had learned in college.
Okay.
And just having my collegiate background of soccer, it kind of just helped me transition. It was kind of just like I was in college all over again, because I had already met that physical demand in college, that it was just something that I was already used to.
Yeah. So you were already prepared and set up for success in the profession that you ended up choosing.
Correct.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so from there, I mean, so becoming an officer and then really just excelling at that and using everything that you learned as an athlete and a student throughout your life to help you in this new profession. How did you ultimately find out about the Titan Games and ultimately become a contestant on this show?
Actually, somebody from casting, Liz, she saw my social media account and she sent me a message on my Instagram account. So, being the cop that I am, I'm like, who is this person? Is this real? So, I had to do my little background on her and my background on the show, because I'd never heard of it, because I didn't really watch the Super Bowl, so I didn't see all the advertisements for it.
Yeah.
So then I ended up contacting her, and, and she helped me out with the whole application process, and I Skyped her, and she helped me with my video, because I'm not technology savvy whatsoever. So once I applied, I was like, all right, I'll never hear anything back, And then I took my mother to New York for Mother's Day, and then I heard back from the show that they were 99% sure that I was going to come out for the combine.
Wow. That's so cool. And so it was just randomly, like someone saw your Instagram account and liked it. So this caster, was it, I'm not sure if it's the way it worked with all of it. So are each of them, they're looking for people who might be great contestants on the show. And so they go out and they find their own people. And so you were one of them that this particular caster had found?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's really awesome. And so I'm going through that. I mean, thinking that, oh, this is really cool. I get to apply for it, but there's absolutely no way I'm going to move on to the next level. When you got that call and you knew that you were probably going to go to the combine, what was that feeling like for you? And how did you mentally shift to realize, okay, this is something that's a far-fetched dream to, this is actually a reality now. So I have to go for it. Yeah,
I was just in shock, because I didn't really know what to expect for this combine. They kept everything such a secret about, what we're even going to do while we were out there trying out for the show. So, I do CrossFit, so I kept doing CrossFit, but I also did some agility work, because I had actually fractured my foot when I found out, but I hadn't been to the doctor. So I was in a boot for 6 weeks
Oh my gosh.
leading up to the combine. So I was paranoid, and I was so worried that it wasn't going to heal in time for the combine. And then I was fresh out of the boot for 2 weeks before actually flying to LA for the combine.
Oh my gosh. How did you fracture your foot?
Playing soccer.
Just playing soccer. Yeah. Seems about right. So, I mean, how did you, again, with that mental strength, how did you were 2 weeks out of the boot, you had healed, but then you had to get ready for tests of physical fitness that you had no idea were ahead of you. You had no idea what lied ahead, but you got on that plane, you were ready to go. So how did you, when you got to the combine, how did you, I guess, mentally prep yourself? How did you become in the mental space and just try and, I guess, force thoughts of your foot out of your mind?
I just put it all out there. I didn't worry about my foot. If it bothered me, I just dealt with it. And I had no issues with it because I had already pretty much tested it out before I left.
Yeah.
I ran on it. I, put a bunch of weight on it. There was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't ready to handle everything that the combine threw at me.
Man. And I mean, it's true. I mean, you show up and you show out. So it's one of those things where you have no idea when an opportunity like this could come around again. So you just decided, all right, I'm going all in. Doesn't matter if my foot bothers me. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And you just did it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just laid it all out there.
Yeah. And so I'm coming from a background too of getting involved with CrossFit. How do you think CrossFit has helped shape you or helped you prepare not only for just the Titan Games, but also in your line of work?
I think it's helped me out because it's not just conditioning, it's also strength. So it's a full body workout.
Yeah.
And, I've struggled with a lot of things CrossFit wise, a lot of the movements that I'm not proficient at, like gymnastics. So it's been mental barriers that I've had to break myself because I haven't really had that individual confidence in myself because I've always been a team player versus the individual athlete. So it's really hard for me to push myself against myself.
Yeah.
Versus me push myself for somebody else.
That's a great perspective to think about. And it's true. I mean, with everything you do, I mean, you come from a background of playing a team sport, but then also now in the line of work you're in, it's working together with other people in pursuit of, the greater good and helping others. And so having that mindset in your daily workout routine too, it's just solidifying that and pushing it home. And so, Ashley, I wonder too, what was your, with the experience that you had at the combine and then eventually at the, as a contestant on the Titan Games, what would you say is your definition of a Titan, and how do you believe that your experience as a Titan will now carry over into the rest of your life?
I think a Titan is someone that anybody can look up to, whether it be physically or mentally strong or in both ways strong. That not only is strong in themselves, but is strong enough to help other people achieve their goal.
I really like that because it's inspiring. It's living your life in a way that, encourages yourself and you. It's something sustainable that you want to keep going at. But it's another thing entirely to be living your life in a way that will inspire others. So you have no idea what impact you're leaving, what legacy you have, until the other people around you feel impacted by you, or they're living their life as a reflection of that. So just living your life every day as a Titan, as that person who is strong enough for someone else.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And again, it's a testament to the line of work you're in and everything in your life that's led to this point, and ultimately your experience. And so, I mean, since the Titan Games, do you have, what other goals now do you have set for yourself as far, professionally, athletically? What's next for you?
That's a good question that I haven't really been able to answer. I don't really know. I've really had a hard time the past few months trying to figure out what my next goal is going to be.
Yeah.
I've always had an interest in, trying to do some kind of strongman competition.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of like farm grown strong is kind of the way that they put it. I've always been strong, whether it's carrying in a bag of dog food or, not really the weights, but it's like the odd object stuff that I'm really excelling in versus like going out and run. I don't really like to go out and run anymore. So that might be something in my future. I think I'm also getting to the point in my life where you know kids are definitely a question.
Yeah, and it's too. You don't have to have. It's not just goals physically, professionally. It's personal goals too. What is some things you want to achieve? Strongman competition, having kids. I mean, they're all incredible goals to try and go after, try and achieve. And in that similar vein, I wonder too. So then, when the opportunity for the Titan Games arose, when you saw that as something that you could go after, what made you say, "Yeah, this is a new goal I want to achieve. I want to go in. I want to see if I can do it." What made you ultimately decide say yes to it?
Because I knew that I didn't have to really prove anything to other people, because people tell me all the time that they're inspired by the things that I do, but I more or less wanted to prove to myself that I was as good as everybody thought I was.
I love that. That is great, because it's easy to, well, it's not easy, but it's, other people in your life who support you. You have that camaraderie and that community who builds you up, and they're going to encourage you and tell you all the great things about yourself that they believe and that they see. But if you don't see it in yourself, it's kind of falling on deaf ears, because it's hard for you to implement that and internalize it. But then going after something because you want to prove to yourself, yes, all of those things that others say about me, others encourage me into, that is actually true. And so, just like you said, laying it all out there, regardless of if your foot hurt, regardless of anything, you're going to seize this moment and make the most of this opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, Ashley, knowing that you've accomplished so much in your life, and you're going to just continue to do that, and on this successful track, I just have one final question for you. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't even know if I have an answer for that. I don't know. I'm just like a simple small town girl, and I guess I just want to be, I don't know.
But it's in the way that you live your life, like everything you just said, you wanted to prove to yourself that you could do it. It's imparting so in the line of work that you're in, and going after goals like the Titan Games, like anything that you want to achieve, a strongman competition, it's simply in living your life, you're instilling that in others. So that truly is leaving a legacy for others, and it's instilling in the next generation and anybody who is watching you to continue that. So it's true. I mean, you pretty much already said it. You wanted to prove to yourself that you could do it. It's not just for you though. It's for the people that believe in you and support you in that community that rallies around you.
Yeah. I just want to just consistently inspire others, and, I don't want to give up on anything in life, and I just want others to know that they don't have to give up on anything. No size of the battle, whether it's some small battle of choosing what you're going to drink for breakfast. Just to never give up, and work as hard as you can, because you never know who's actually watching.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the Keep Moving Forward Creators Studio, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward podcast iTunes channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.